Hello, good morning, and welcome to Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies, and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to our first ever mini waffle. We recently just came back from Disneyland Paris, and when I say recently, I mean a week ago. And we did a lot while we were there, so much that some of the bigger things that we did, we've decided to make small episodes, just specifically about them. And Sinead cleverly came up with the idea of calling them mini waffles, as in M-I-N-N-I-E.
There's a
Get it?
spelling lesson for you.
Get it? Yeah, so these hopefully won't be anywhere near as long as our regular episodes.
Yeah, and we'll put them out more sporadically. It won't be your usual 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, so like they'll just hop up whenever. That'll be a nice little midweek surprise.
Ooh. This week, because we were in Disneyland Paris last week, and the big thing that happened in Disneyland Paris last week was the Phantom Manor reopening, and specifically the Infinity Annual Pass Holder event that we went to.
It was exciting.
It was exciting.
It was dark.
I was terribly excited.
I know. You were way more excited than I was. I was not... But it's safe to say I was not around my people, but you were around your people.
Oh, it was great. So I dressed Kate up much like myself. So we both had skeleton jumpers on.
The whole holiday, I didn't actually realise how much we just dressed like twins.
Yeah, pretty much. It was cute.
Oh, it was fine.
I think the most different was the Princess Day, but other than that, we were dressed pretty much identical.
Yeah, like Marvel Day was pretty similar.
We didn't even do that intentionally.
No, it was I came out of the bathroom after my shower and I was dressed and I looked at Sinead and went, oh, we're dressed exactly the same. But I mean, who cares? It was Disney.
Yeah, exactly. So,
anyway, sorry.
We both dressed accordingly because the event had said dress accordingly.
We dressed spoopy.
We did. So there was a lot of black. There was a lot of skeleton stuff going on. There was a lot of Halloween-y things. It was pretty great. I enjoyed it. And everyone around us, I think there was maybe a handful of people that weren't dressed in predominantly black.
Yeah, there was a lot of black going on. There was a lot of people dressed up properly.
There was.
Because I didn't realise, afterwards, ED92 was like, oh, people were allowed to dress up. And I was like, it actually didn't specifically say you could dress up. I was did it?
Yeah, it's
I thought it just said dress for the occasion.
Yeah, but I think a couple people on the annual pass holder thing had specifically said, can we wear costumes? Can we wear face paint? That kind of thing. So
I thought I was going to. I'm not miffed because I didn't.
Because you weren't able to dress like a patron of Thunder Mesa.
No, but I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed I enjoyed how hyped everyone was.
Yeah, it was good. So we've written kind of some things that we wanted to touch on, just to make sure that we kind of cover most things that I suppose people would care about.
Just in case this isn't obvious, this is an overall review of the annual pass holder event.
Yes, and for, I suppose, clarification, we haven't been to an annual pass holder event before.
No,
this was our first one.
Yeah.
And also it's a free one, so I suppose it's probably not fair to judge it against other ones because there's only so much money they were going to put into this, given that it was free.
Yeah.
So, was what it was. So I suppose the first place to kind of start would be with getting our wristbands.
That was really easy.
Yeah.
That was really easy. If you've ever been to the Disney Village, if you know where McDonald's is, out to you have to walk out a bit to McDonald's.
Yeah.
If you walk a little bit further, just past McDonald's, there's the Disney Village Dome. And just outside of that, there was these little ticket kiosks, and it just said annual pass holder wristbands pickup. And you just went up with your annual pass, and they asked for the confirmation email, and then they give you a wristband.
Yeah.
They found your name on a sheet.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's because the time that we went, so the way we kind of structured our park day was we got up early, we went for extra magic hours, and we stayed for the parade, and then we left.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's just because we kind of went in that kind of middly stage where people might have just stayed in the park for the rest of the day for the event, or people might have just got to the park for then. They might have missed out
in the morning instead.
Yeah, so I don't know whether we just kind of got lucky because there was literally nobody there.
No, but they had loads of kiosks open. There was about 5 people there, I think, giving out tickets.
Yes, they were well prepared. So you just had to show them the email and show them your annual pass, and then they very tightly put a wristband on you.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I kept my wristband.
Mine's somewhere.
They were just your kind of standard.
Oh, they were just your regular
wristbands.
paper wristbands, if you're going to a club or whatever.
Yeah. There were purple ones, from what we could gather, there were purple ones for standard guests, and there looked to be green ones for media. Not that it seemed to make a difference.
But then when we were queuing up, we saw a guy with the green one that wasn't media.
Do you think he was just being with his friends, though?
What do you mean? Oh, like
because he was with that group of people that was in front of us. So maybe he just...
Yeah.
Or it might have won one of the ones that was being given away by the thousands of Disney accounts that had them to give away. So you never know.
Either way, it didn't really make a difference apart from that media got in first.
So getting wristbands, super easy.
Oh, it was no problems at all. It was very easy.
The next thing I have written down is the communication.
Lack of.
How the event was going to go.
Now, I feel like we'd fully prepared for lack of communication, so we didn't freak out when there was none.
No.
Because we were like, no, what a surprise. So basically, we had first, that day of the annual pass holder event, they had opened Phantom Manor for cast member previews.
Yeah.
And so there was cast members outside, like there was Phantom Manor cast members outside of Phantom Manor.
Yeah.
Dressed up in all their garb. And then we went up and asked them what the crack was with the pass holder event.
Yeah.
And we asked them, did we need to leave the park? Could we stay in the park? And the cast member there told us that usually you can stay in the park as long as you have your wristband.
Yeah.
And then you can just come in to Frontierland when it's ready. So we were like, okay, cool.
So we, as I said, we left after the parade, we got our wristbands, we went back to our hotel, kind of chilled for a while. And then we got some food. Well, we got banana bread on the way back and a coffee.
That was good banana bread.
And we got back to the park for around 9:30. So the event was due to start at 10:30.
No, 11:15.
11:15, sorry. So we got back to because we were told we could stay. So we were like, okay, if we get into the park before the fireworks start, we'll just kind of chill somewhere and then
we don't need to watch the fireworks.
So we went back to Frontierland just to kind of see what the story was, because we didn't know where in the park, because all we were told was that we could stay in the park, so we didn't know where in the park we'd be staying.
Yeah.
Would it be in Frontierland? Is there a different area? So we were like, let's just go ask. So we went up to Phantom Manor again. There was they had done soft openings during that time that we'd gone out of the park, which was fine. I was happy to wait to ride it first at the event. So there were cast members outside, and we went up and asked what the holding situation would be and all this kind of stuff, and the cast member was just kind of like, oh no, you'll have to wait in a queue outside and then they'll bring you back in after. Didn't tell us where, couldn't tell us where.
No, the cast member said, I was like, okay, so just to be clear, we leave the park, the whole park closes, and then we come back in. And he went, that is what we've been told.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't sound reassuring in the slightest.
Yeah. He couldn't give us any information as to where we should go, where the queue was going to be, because obviously we'd just come into the park and we hadn't seen a queue.
Yeah.
Now, we did go very far if you're heading into Disneyland Park, if you go very, very far to the left, there's an Infinity and Magic Plus entrance there. So we went very far over that way to use that entrance, because it would have been quicker than going through the regular one. However, had we gone through the regular entrance, we probably would have seen that there was actually a whole separate holding area for the Phantom Manor event.
Which, on retrospect now, why they should have just had signs up from the very front.
Oh, 100%.
And just been like, go into the party, come to the right.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know whether it was because, it could have just been your ill planning on Disneyland Paris's part, shocker, or whether they just didn't want to make a big deal of it so that regular guests would be like, well, why can't we go to this?
Yeah, true. But
you never know.
But that happens in Disney World. They're like, oh, go to the party, pick your response here, go to the party, queue here.
Yeah, but we're asking a lot from Disneyland Paris.
I know, we always do.
But in the end of the day, like always, ED92 saved the day.
Yeah, we were walking back out of the park.
Are we ever going to get through an episode of this without singing the praises of ED92?
No, because I can see the list of what we're going to talk about in the actual trip report, and I know for a fact we mentioned them at least once. Yeah. So we were on our way back out of the park, and I was like, okay, we still had loads of time. It was still way before the event was going to start. So neither of us were panicking.
No.
So we were like, look, we'll walk outside. Maybe someone outside knows what's going to happen. But on the way, Sinead was checking Twitter, and she had seen that. Oh, I know why we hadn't seen her there, because you switched off ED92's alerts.
Yeah. So normally I have tweet alerts for ED92, particularly if I'm in the park, because like we'll talk about on the regular episode, they let you know when rare characters are out. So I always like to have it on so that if I just look at my phone, it'll tell me something. But when we were leaving and going back to the hotel, they were going to the soft openings and they were posting all these things about the changes, and I didn't want to know, so I turned off my tweet notifications, and that's why we missed it.
Yeah, and you were like, you were like, oh, if I'd had this on, would have known all along, you know. But anyway, so we were just coming out of Frontierland. And Sinead was like, oh, okay, here we go. So ED92 had put up all the information about the holding situation for the evening. And basically, you had to... So if you're looking at the Disneyland Hotel, to the right is guest relations, and there's an entrance/exit over there.
Yeah.
There was like a cornered off area with those barricade fence thingies. Barricade sounds very...
They were plastic.
Yeah, they were plastic. Like they were
fenced in anywhere, but it was just
an area that was enclosed, and they checked your wristbands, checked them
very thoroughly
checked your wristbands, in all fairness, and put you into this holding area.
Yeah,
and you were to wait there until 11:15 when they would let us in, but they would let us in down through the arcade on the right hand side.
Yeah,
then
the Discovery Arcade.
Yeah, then cross over Main Street without being allowed anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then down through into Frontierland.
Yeah.
Which was fine, really. Like, it wasn't that much of a big deal. As soon as it hit 11:15, media were let in. Now, there was a whole lack of, like, nobody was being told what was happening.
There was a lot of shouting in French, and I get that it was a very last-minute event, so I would argue a good 75% of the people there were French.
Which is fair, because I'd say, if you were to look at statistics, more French people would have an annual pass than any other
and would be able to go to an event that's we're told about like 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
So I get that, but we knew nothing of what was going on.
No, I didn't know what was happening. There was a lot of people, and it was my only, like, I was fine. I knew I was safe, but my only problem was, which was confirmed when something happened, was that if something were to happen while we were in this quite close environment, like, we weren't squished, but it was close enough.
It was tight.
That if something were to happen, I didn't know how to contact a cast member.
No, because we couldn't see it. There was one guy up the front that had a big, like, glowy lightsaber looking thing.
Yeah, but that was it. So then when it got to 11:15, the media were like drip drab leapt in.
I think they just opened gates. You know, the gates that are between...
Oh, yes. The media were let in very nicely. And then basically, like, the floodgates were opened for everybody else.
Yeah.
And it meant that everyone didn't push, but there was like a sudden surge of movement. So what happened in front of me was that a girl fell down. I'm guessing because there was just like such a quick
she probably
movement.
just lost her footing or something like that.
But I initially thought she'd fainted. Yeah. Because it was a very close environment. And my initial thought was, oh, I don't know what to do. Yeah. I can't see anybody. And now people were like stepping over her. And I was like, calm down. Like,
we're all going to get in.
I was like, just wait. Anyway, she was fine. She got up and that was fine. Everyone went in. But like, the initial push was a bit much. Like, you could have had switchbacks.
And I think that probably would, like, in that area, it would have been nothing to put switchbacks, and it would have made everything a bit easier. Because, like, when we got there, we got to the queue probably about 9:45.
Yeah.
And the whole front of the, like, barricade thing, because it was a big square, and there were people that were tucked over in the corner that definitely did not get in as early as they were waiting there.
No, definitely not.
Because initially we were over to kind of the far left, and I said, listen, they're only going to let us in because we have to go through this little corridor all the way down the park. I was like, we need to move over to the right. But yeah, and then it was basically a case of hold your hands up and hold your wristband out for the cast members while you, if you were me, kind of like half danced, half ran through the park, which was very fun. Which was
fine. It was fun. Like, the cast members were having a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, they were.
I think it was just that initial surge that made me feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. Once we got through the gates, it was perfect.
Oh yeah, it was fine. Like, nobody was running.
No.
Everyone was fairly civilised. There were cast members everywhere making sure you put your hand up, see your wristband.
Yeah. One thing that I think did help us, so when we got through the arcade and turned left to go to Frontierland, there's two entrances to Frontierland, which we only found out on this trip. There's the like regular big entrance, which is closer to the castle, that has the big Frontierland thing, but then over kind of behind where you meet Donald, there's another walkway there, and as there was kind of a massive group of people walking, just as we got to it, a cast member was like, oh, you can also use this entrance. And we were like, sweet, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
So I think we got there much quicker than...
Yeah, because you didn't have to walk all the way around and through and then back round. We literally just dipped into the side
and came out
exactly where Phantom Manor is.
Yeah, and right beside the Lucky Nugget.
Yeah.
So once we got into Frontierland, there were cast members who were giving out, you've probably seen them online if you cared to look, but they're posters basically of like a news bulletin announcing that the Manor...
The Phantom is open!
They're basically announcing that the Manor is reopening, and it's got like little advertisements for other businesses that are in Frontierland and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah,
I liked
it was nice. It was cute. There was definitely like a sudden surge, people like grabbing for them.
Yeah, there was one cast member that was literally just getting them like snatched out of her hands.
Yeah, to a point where like I walked over to get one, they were like, I only have 2 left. And I was like, okay, but there was like loads of cast members everywhere with them.
Yeah.
So people didn't need to rush to the very first one.
No.
So I think you did lose the impact of what they were going for, because as we walked further down to the Manor, there was a woman who like tried to hand me another one and was like, have you heard the news? The Manor's reopening. And I was like, oh, this is what we were going for. I was like, oh, we were going for theming and excitement and not gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It wasn't a massive deal.
Yeah.
But then there was a lack of information as to what exactly was happening when you got into Frontierland.
Yeah. So what I will say, they had... the lighting that they had on the Manor was stunning, and the grounds around the Manor, it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was real nice.
For the life of us, we couldn't get a good picture of it.
No,
but again,
the frame rate was definitely all wrong.
ED92 got some lovely pictures of it, so check them out. But basically, we were kind of... where we ended up standing when we got into Frontierland and over to Phantom Manor, we were kind of between the Silver Spur and the Molly Brown.
Yeah.
We were kind of right in between the two of those.
Yeah.
And no one really seemed to know what was happening.
No, there was a lot of standing around. I could definitely hear some sort of announcement.
But it was all in French.
No, there was an English one, but it was so quiet.
And people were talking over
and
it.
people were talking, what would happen was everyone would be quiet for the French one, and everyone would listen to the French one because it came first.
Yeah.
And then the French one would finish and everyone would start talking. And I'd be like, I don't speak French.
Yeah.
I was saying quite loudly, I was like, I don't speak French. Can you please be quiet?
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And so they did the announcements twice anyway. And the problem was they weren't connected to a very loud speaker.
No.
I don't know what they were connected to, but it was very, very quiet.
Yeah, it was very faint.
And I was like, all I could get was Mayor and Molly Brown.
So what happened then was we had the mayor of Frontierland and his wife and the sheriff.
I don't know.
I think it was the sheriff.
It all happened in French.
They were upstairs on the Molly Brown, and they were basically making an announcement to us, the townsfolk, I suppose, basically all about the Manor reopening. The mayor would do a big long spiel in French, and he was very loud, he was very articulate, and then his wife, who was trying to put on this like little dandy petite like twee voice, and you couldn't understand what she was saying, so she was basically paraphrasing it in English. So he'd say a big long spiel in French, she'd be like, oh yes dear, that is exactly, and you couldn't hear her.
No, couldn't hear a word she was saying.
Whatever, I
got it, we're excited.
Yeah. You could kind of vaguely understand
she'd
what
be
was
like,
happening.
There would be like a good minute in French and she'd be like, yes, this is exciting. And
or
you'd be like, oh, okay.
Like, no, it is safe to go in. And it's like, bitch. Yeah.
Again, we understand heavy French influence, but also a nice 50-50 split would have been nice.
Yeah. If she had just projected more, or if her microphone was louder, it would have been fine.
I just feel like there wasn't enough preparation in terms of, can I hear from here? Can I hear from here?
Yeah.
It was just like, these will do.
Yeah. So, again, we don't know what your man said, and by this stage no one else was listening to your man. So, whatever he said, it was to do with the gates being open, so everyone kind of like pushed forward a little bit.
I presume I couldn't see because I'm short, but I presume there was barricades up in front of the gate,
and then
they lifted the barricades, and then you could go all the way up to the gate.
Yeah. And then we had the gatekeeper, who we got a really great interaction with. No idea what he was saying, but French. He was brilliant.
I think the problem was that I felt really uncomfortable because it felt like he was talking to me or asking me a question.
Yeah. And I had no idea what he was saying.
I was like, I don't speak French.
Yeah.
And then he just continued speaking French.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah. There's some really cool videos of it. We've saved all of our snaps from the event on as a highlight on our Instagram page. So go have a look at the stories and go have a look at the gatekeeper, because he was great.
Oh, he was great. Like,
He was fantastic. Such good theming.
Theming was good.
Theming was great. Theming was on point.
Yeah, oh yeah, theming was on point, yeah.
So,
but it was good because it was like... but then when we were waiting outside the gates, the speaker to our left kept switching off.
And the other one was really far away.
And I think it was all in French again, so it didn't really matter. I could sometimes grab words and try and understand what was happening.
Yeah.
But because my speaker wasn't working, I was like, nah, nah, nah.
It was cool though, because what they did was, when we all got up to the gates, from what I could see, because again there was a lot of people and we're not particularly tall people, while they had all the lighting and stuff like that, you could see the gatekeeper come out of the front door.
Could you?
I could. Walk down the steps, because he had like a light thing, I could see the light. He walked down the steps and what looks like it's going to be the new fast pass entrance. And he walked right up to the gate, said some stuff, and then opened the gates.
That's cute, now that I know what happened.
Yeah. And then he was staying at the door, kind of chatting to people letting people in.
Between loads, yeah.
And at this point, I lost my goddamn mind.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool. Just turned to Sinead, she's like, what is happening? Like, mouth open, eyes wide. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I haven't been here in a while.
Oh, I lost my goddamn mind. I was just so excited. And the thing to just make it that little bit worse, once the mayor and his wife and whoever else had stopped talking, there were French cadaver dans.
Oh, yeah.
And they started singing Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Oh, it was actually quite good.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, it was
it was while we were walking through the queue, and I would say we were probably within the first 200 people.
Yeah, easily. Like, we did do pretty well. I am a bit upset that cadaver dans didn't play throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I would have liked that, because it meant we didn't get to see them.
Yeah, we didn't see them.
We heard them.
We heard them, yeah. But I feel like they only did, I'd say, 10 minutes worth of a set.
They had finished by the time we got to the door.
Yeah, so I was like, you could have had them all night.
Yeah,
100%. That, like, how you pay. I'm sorry, you paid them to play for 10 minutes. Yeah. You could have paid them to play for 2 hours.
Yeah, because a lot of them were walking around and getting pictures of people afterwards, and I'm like, sing, don't take pictures of people, sing, that's why you're here.
It seemed like a little bit of a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
But then it also could have just been hey, we'll see if this works.
Yeah.
If people like it, or if, like, there's a lot of talk about it afterwards on social media and stuff.
If they brought them back for the Halloween party.
Yeah, that would be good.
Love it. Oh, it'd be so great.
But it was good because I think that's the first time we've ever seen
anything to do with the dance.
Anything to do with the dance in Disneyland Paris. So that is it is something.
Yeah, that US money.
Yeah, but it did feel like a bit of a waste opportunity that they did only sing for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but it was nice. It kind of built the anticipation as we were going through the queue. The queue was perfectly fine. There was the odd couple people trying to skip ahead, but mercifully we got stuck. We were in front of the nicest people.
Yeah, I didn't even know where they were from. They were definitely like German or Danish.
Yeah. But they were also buzzing for it, and they were almost seemed to be like feeding off how excited I was. Yeah. So they were like barricading the two of us so that no one would get in front of me, which was very cute.
They were nice, yeah. But the queue was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. It was very I think we only stopped maybe twice.
And I think it helped that the Phantom Manor queue is quite wide.
Yeah.
And you don't file in because you get put in groups.
Yeah.
There's no need for a very tight filing system. Yeah. So it did help. It was good. But we didn't have to go through like all the loops and all the switchbacks or anything. No. That was fine.
It was pretty
We didn't even have to queue in the extended queue that they made outside. Mercifully. Because we were so quick in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely say we were one of the first 200 at that party to ride it.
Yeah, which was very nice.
Yeah.
So, as I said, we got to the door. We had like a couple minutes with the gatekeeper. Again, no idea what he's saying, but it was really cool. I was loving it.
He was like, blah 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 blah.
I can only imagine he was telling us to like not go in and
or like the story of the Phantom, and we're like, oh yeah, we.
Yeah. So we get let in, and the initial loading room is beautiful. The
carpet is so clean. The colours
smell
are so fresh. The smell is gone. It smells so clean and fresh.
Which we were worried about because we'd done one of those like guest survey things with a cast member. What was the guy's name?
I was just thinking that. Was it Andre? No.
I feel like it began with a J. Jasper or Jason or I don't know. He was lovely.
He was very nice.
But he'd been on it, and we did the whole survey for him, and then he was like, okay, have you any questions about Phantom Manor? And I'd asked a couple of questions, and Kate asked, is the smell still there? And he said yes. the smell is not still there.
The smell is... It
doesn't... Don't get me wrong, it doesn't smell like squeaky clean.
Oh, no, which is grand. It's not supposed to. It's like Phantom Manor. But my problem was that it smelled like mould.
Yeah, it smells more attic, a bit less damp.
Yeah, which the fact that smell is gone makes me feel like there was a mould or damp issue, because the smell
maybe that's
so
what
bad.
they uncovered and why it took so long.
Yeah, maybe that was the unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah.
But sure, I could have told them that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the smell mercifully is gone, which makes the whole experience for me much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
But everything is still like old and decrepit.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like a new house by any means.
No, not at all. One of the things that I couldn't understand when people said it, but I understand it when I went in, was that people said it was dark, it was brighter but darker at the same time. And
They've got the lighting right.
And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But then when I got in, I was like, oh my god, it's brighter but darker at the same time.
Yeah, like the effects that they want you to see are better lit. Like there's not like a torch on them or anything like that. Like what they want you to see is better lit, but the surroundings are still very, very dark. Yeah, it's not a light ride.
But it's like all the colours are vibrant.
Oh yeah,
like you can really see them.
Yeah,
which I enjoyed. It made it feel like a much newer ride.
Yeah. So obviously there's been changes to the story. We'd mentioned that before, and we didn't go through them before. Should we go through the changes in the story?
If you want to, but you'll have to, because I don't really know the story from the beginning.
Well, they've kind of enhanced the story a little bit, so it is very much about...
Oh, the story makes more sense now.
Yeah, it's because before you kind of piece it together from what you'd read online, not from the actual ride, but it actually makes much more sense now. So the whole story is that the Phantom, who is Henry Ravenswood, who is the man of the manor, and his daughter Melanie, and basically he thinks nobody is good enough for her, and every time she finds a man and is going to get married, mysteriously something happens to them. So when you're in the initial loading room, there's this really cute painting of the two of them, and it's really bright, it's airy, and then it gets darker and she disappears out of the painting. And the effect, I don't know how they do that effect, but it is so freaking cool.
Yeah, actually the second time I was like looking at it, I was like, is it like 4 panes of glass? I was like, what is it? But like she completely disappears.
Yeah.
Like there's no like weird outline.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's so good. And I will say, mixing it in with the Vincent Price bits in English, beautiful.
Yeah, because now I understood what was happening.
Yeah, and they have the best, and I was describing it to Kate, the best way I can kind of put it is they've taken as much from the original Vincent Price Haunted Mansion spiel as they could, whilst mixing it with some French to keep the story as Phantom Manor.
Yeah.
And that's about as best as I can explain it.
I think that's all I need to say.
Yeah. So we went into the rooms. The rooms, again, look lovely. They have completely changed the stretching room photos, so you don't have any of the photos that you used to. So you don't have the girl on the tightrope over the crocodile or anything like that. They're all pictures of Melanie and her to-be husbands.
Which I just think makes way more sense.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah. It fits the story so much better. So again, as you're in the room, as the lights kind of dim, she disappears out of the photos. Well, not the photos, the paintings. And as you stretch down, you see what happened to each of these men.
Yeah.
And then the other kind of added effect, which I really enjoyed, was when the lightning goes off, you can see the Phantom up in the ceiling. So make sure you look up. There was a couple kids that were around us that were not enjoying that you could see the Phantom. Yeah. They were like, what the heck is going on? But yeah, I loved it. The stretching scene was beautiful. The gargoyles were beautiful. The paintings were beautiful. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Carpet was fresh.
It was. It was very spongy carpet.
I really noticed how spongy the carpet was.
And I have to say, they were not cramming us in there. Especially because we went on it the next day for the annual pass holder previews. But at the event, even though there was like hundreds of people,
thousands,
there was so much room in that room. Like, like you probably could have fit, I don't know, at least another 20 people in that room.
I don't think it was worth their while. I think the time it takes to get people into the room and out of the room, they're quicker just to not put as many people in the room.
Yeah, so it's not like if you've been on the one in Walt Disney World where they're kind of like, fill in all the dead spaces, and they just like cram you in there so you can't actually see anything that's going on. You see a painting and you don't get to see anything else. There was room that you could look around, you could see everything. So I really appreciate that they weren't like cramming us in like sardines.
I feel that spongy carpet.
Yep. So The hallway with the paintings, they changed up the paintings a little bit. There's a really nice painting of Melanie that I'm assuming they touched up because it looks way different to how it used to be.
Or a brand new painting.
Could be a brand new one. And then you get into the loading bay where you get into your dune buggy.
Yeah.
Which was great. The cast member that was on for the event, she was, oh my god, she was living her best life.
Yeah.
I don't know how long she was there for, if she was there for the whole event or if she was only there for part of it, but she could not have been having a better time.
I can't even describe her. She was just great.
She was interacting with everybody. She was kind of being a little bit spooky with everybody. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was good.
The biggest kind of change in the loading area is that you can now see Melanie on the stairs.
Oh, yeah, she's on the stairs, yeah.
So that's quite nice. You kind of get to see her straight off the bat, which is good. The rest of the ride, like, the main kind of changes, like, it is better lit. Some of the effects are better.
It's better lit. It sounds better. The smell is gone.
You can hear some of it in English.
You can hear some of it in English. Do you know what I thought was good was that Madame Leota was the one in the ball. I'm pretty sure that when you used to go on Phantom Manor, when you round Madame Leota, you could have gone round a whole thing and not heard any English.
Oh, okay.
And the whole thing would have been in French. But I think they've shortened the sequences.
Snippets,
so the whole time you go around Madame Leota, you'll hear at least one thing in French and at least one thing in English.
Yeah, true.
Which I thought was good. I enjoyed that. Madame Leota definitely looked better.
100%, yeah.
Definitely looked better.
She still doesn't look the exact same as the Haunted Mansion one, which is fair.
That's fine.
We ended up getting stuck at the ballroom scene, which is perfect. I love the ballroom scene. It's not my favourite one.
I like it because it's the whole like special mirror thing, and I'm like, ooh, this is like
and you can see there's the Phantom and Melanie, and he's maniacally laughing, and it's great. I've seen someone post online that they really want to get a print of the Phantom Manor painting, like of what it looked like when it was like a fresh and new Manor, and I'm like, I would also really enjoy that. I'd like a before and after. One thing to note of this, and I think I have it in the news for the other one, but we may as well pop it in here. So they had changed the ballroom music to be the same as it is in the Disney World, and I assume the Disneyland option, which it's that kind of the start of Grim Grinning Ghosts, that kind of really nails on a chalkboard, almost kind of ballroomy music. That's what was playing, but due to guest feedback, they have changed it back to what it originally was. Now, I'm not massively familiar with what it originally was.
No, I couldn't tell you what it originally sounded like.
Yeah. Again, EG92 posted it online. But I thought it was interesting that they took
guest feedback
on board, and it was changed by Friday.
Yeah,
so it was changed for the reopening. So it was only anyone that got to see the previews got to judge the music, but I thought it was good that they actually took that feedback on board and changed it that quickly.
That's that American money being like, nah man, do it. Do it. Turn it back. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah, there's a really cool effect when Melanie's at the dressing table. You can see the Phantom behind her. I will say, the first Phantom animatronic that you see when you go into the kind of graveyardy bit, so much better.
I think all the animatronics are better.
So much better.
That was one thing I didn't like about Phantom Manor, was that the animatronics were so outdated.
They looked
that I was like, this is not Disney. I was like, this looks like a haunted house in some like runaway carnival.
Yeah, like
I didn't enjoy it.
They looked melted.
Yeah, but they look great now. And their colours are popping.
Yeah,
their jaws are up and down. But they're like properly chatting.
Such a little thing, but
the mayor's head comes off.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's like, Mama.
Yeah, they still have the busts that still sing Grim Grinning Ghost, which was God. That's my favourite scene.
We got to stop
throughout the whole thing. So that just pleases me no end. What I did say to you, which I found quite funny, with the mayor. The mayor does the spiel that you hear in the Haunted Mansion, where he says, beware of hitchhiking ghosts, but hitchhiking ghosts don't.
Yeah, there's no hitchhiking ghosts in Phantom Manor.
Yeah, so I thought that was a bit odd, but we also got stopped right beside the Phantom that's at the very end of the ride.
Oh yeah,
he's great.
His animatronic is fantastic,
and again, just maniacally laughing.
And there's like one exact pose where he's like looking at you.
It's terrible.
And I'm like, let's keep moving. When is this doom buggy gonna start rolling? I'm like, no thank you.
Yeah, but again, and I tried to get my phone out to take a picture of him when we were on the ride, but it's so dark that you can't get a picture, but in real life you can see it perfectly.
Oh, it's real good. I also forgot how long Phantom Manor was.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been for so long, but like the story is told at a nice pace.
And as we've said, it is much more clearer of a story. The thing that I thought was quite funny when you're getting off, if you've been on the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World, when you're going through past the mirrors, one of the hitchhiking ghosts is in your car with you. But Melanie's in your car and she proposes to you.
Oh yeah, and she's like, "Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?"
And you're like,
"Oh Jesus!"
And you're like, "No." I've seen what happens to the other ones.
Yeah. But oh my god, I was so pleased. I was beaming with joy the whole way around.
You were?
I was so pleased. I was like sat like right up, like hands under my chin in the doom buggy. I was so pleased.
And I was like, "This is nice."
So yeah, we did only go on it once during the event, just because it was so busy.
Yeah, when we came out, the full switchback extend queue was full.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if we need to queue for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't think it's required.
Yeah.
And gladly, Sinead agreed.
Yeah. So what we did instead was go on Big Thunder Mountain.
Which was definitely faster.
100%.
They definitely sped it up.
Yeah.
They must have.
It was a 0-minute wait.
Oh yeah, no, 0 minutes. Just walk in.
And
however long it took you to get on the ride.
And everyone on the train was dressed in their Phantom Manor garb, so everyone was dressed all spoopy and creepy, and I loved it. I love Big Thunder in the dark. But if anyone has been on it, if you're in, say, the first kind of 2 or 3 cars, it's quite slow.
Yeah, it's quite slow because of science.
Yeah. So it holds back and then it releases, so it's always faster at the back because you're whipped round. It was so fast.
It was so fast.
It was definitely faster than it normally is.
I'm pretty sure they sped it up.
Yeah, because it was I maybe saw like 3 or 4 kids at the whole event.
Yeah.
So it was definitely faster. And then just as we were getting off Big Thunder, there was something happening at Phantom Manor. There was like this projection show and there was a bunch of screaming and dogs and lightning. It was great.
Yeah, which I'm also, in terms of communication, if we'd have known that was going to happen,
we wouldn't have gone on Big Thunder.
We wouldn't have gone on Big Thunder. We would have waited. Because there was a whole group of people in front of the manor watching this projection show.
Yeah.
And it's fine. We caught the end of it and it was really good because we could watch it from just at the exit of Big Thunder.
Yeah.
But if we'd have known it was going to happen...
we would have been up closer.
We would have been up closer, and I was like, you could have just told people. Like, it wouldn't have been much to say...
at midnight, this is going to happen.
That's all you had to say. Like, it didn't have to be a full printed programme of the things that are going to be on, or you just had to say...
Just the cliff notes. Just some highlights would have been nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just even from where we were, we had a good view of it. The effects that they had for it were fantastic.
Oh yeah, they were real good. So much so that I hope they do it again, like something to that extent on the manor.
100%. Like it was a lot of lighting, but I hope they do it again.
Great. The lightning behind the manor.
Oh, so good.
Loved it. I was like, yes, getting it right.
So good. I absolutely loved it. The way they had the whole place lit was pretty great.
Yeah, it was very good. Like there
Frontierland was dark.
I'd say a lot of time went into the lighting and making sure the lighting was good. But obviously not as much as the sound. Obviously not the same guys.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah. So basically, what you had to do in the event was you could go on Phantom Manor, you could go on Big Thunder, you could queue up to go into the shop to buy stuff that you could buy during the day, anyways. And
they had them. They had left over. They had them left over the next day.
Yeah, so the special items that they touted were this big wooden panel,
which was huge.
It was so big.
It was the size of a small child.
Yeah, I can't remember how much that was off the top of my head.
Too expensive for wood.
But yeah, it had Phantom Manor printed on it and stuff, and I've seen a bunch of people walking around with it, so people were picking it up. And
if you lived in France,
yeah. If you didn't have to try to get it home in a thing. Speaking of trying to get stuff home, the other thing you could get was when you go on Phantom Manor, you see the clock. They had a replica of the clock. Now, I saw the clock on my first day. I saw the clock on the second day. And I bought the clock on the second day.
Yeah, you did.
The clock was $69.99, but I did get my 20% off with my Infinity Pass holder. And I bought it as we were leaving to go to the event. So... because I was like, I'm not buying it at the event because
we bought it after the parade.
Spend time doing it. Yeah, because I'll have to spend time doing it at the event, and I'm gonna have to carry it around with me, so I'll just buy it now. I bought it in Harrington's,
the good shop.
The good shop. Oh, Harrington's.
The shop that has the Rapunzel painting I want. FYI.
So people were queuing up to go into Thunder Mesa Mercantile to buy the 2 things that they could have bought at any time during the day.
Sure, look. Disneyland Paris, eh?
Yeah. I wish they had a limited edition pin for it.
Yeah,
or something.
Again, it just seemed like a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Like, just get people to spend more money.
Yeah.
I would totally bought a limited edition pin.
Like, you could have held back, like, all the Phantom Manor pins you bought. They could have held back one of those designs.
Oh, 100%.
And just put, like, opening day on it.
Yeah, that would have been great. So you had the 2 rides. There was the items in the store. You could meet the sheriff and you could meet the mayor and his wife, which had quite a queue for a good while.
Yeah, I was like, will we queue? And Sinead was like, no. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Probably not.
No, because like I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love the like theming of it and all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't something that I was prepared to stand around and wait and meet just 2 people dressed up in country garb. We got back over to the Manor after being on Big Thunder, and Kate was trying to get some pictures and stuff, and I was just kind of like just standing, and then I realised that a cast member had, like, Phantom Manor cast member had just kind of appeared beside me, like shoulder to shoulder with me, and I just kind of I just turned and looked at her, and she goes, "You can still run, you know." I was not expecting that. And then she turned to me again and went, "Maybe you should." And I was like, oh, I like that. But like, there were cast members that their main job was to just go around and scare people.
I'm glad that she spoke English to you.
Yeah, I don't know whether she'd heard me speaking to you or whether she just
was just hedging her bets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't look French.
You know.
So, yeah, there were cast members kind of going around and being as thematical as possible. They did have a bunch of the newsletter thingies left by the end of the event, so we did go back and
and I was like, hi, sorry, I missed one at the front. Can I have another one?
I don't think they would have cared. Like, I saw people walking around with like 10. So...
And she was like, yeah, take one.
Yeah.
Go
I think by that stage they knew everyone who wanted one at first had got one.
Yeah.
So we do have an extra one for a sneaky little giveaway we're going to do.
More about that in the podcast.
So yeah, I think...
We didn't stay till 2 a.m.
No.
We pretty much figured out that it was only on till 2 a.m. to make sure that everyone got to ride Phantom Manor.
Yeah.
Because we weren't the first to leave either.
No.
There was loads of people leaving. It was quite cold.
Yeah, because we did leave early, we did miss out on seeing Melanie and the Phantom. They did have them out as characters that were kind of walking through the crowd and interacting with guests and stuff. But I was very tired and I was very glad of my bed.
Yeah, it was very cold. Like, I was like cold. If any of you have ever been camping and it's like 2 a.m, it's like that kind of cold. It's like, I just want to go to sleep cold.
Yeah. So what time did we leave at? About 1:15?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So we we took some nice pictures of the Disneyland Hotel.
Yeah.
And then we went back to Newport Bay.
Yeah, and then went to sleep.
Yeah, which was quite nice. So overall, what would you give the event out of 10?
7.
7?
7.
What are you marking it down on?
I didn't like the way we queued.
Okay.
No, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But it could have been a whole lot better with switchbacks.
Absolutely.
So all I'm asking for is a couple of switchbacks.
Yeah.
The lack of communication while we were in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. Didn't know when things were going to happen. And I suppose the lack of communication beforehand.
Okay.
The actual event itself was grand.
Yeah.
Free event. You can't really dodge them, like.
Yeah.
It was... basically like, these are the things that are offered during regular park hours and a couple of extra things just for funsies.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be mad at them for what was offered. It was a free event. But even though it is a free event, guest satisfaction is still priority.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wasn't fully satisfied. I would have been a lot happier if I'd have known that the projection thing was going to happen at midnight or whenever it happened. If I'd have known what was happening when we got into Frontierland.
Yeah.
I feel like there wasn't enough information put out.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. We're in a theme park in France, but Disneyland Paris knows the crack.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to Tokyo Disney, they have health and safety announcements in English.
Yeah.
So, come on.
Fair.
Get a grip. But overall, solid 7 out of 10. I'm also not that huge of a Phantom Manor fan, so I was like, yeah, cool, let's go ride a ride.
I think...
What about you?
I think for a free event...
Yeah.
I would give it a solid 8.5.
Wow, that's not solid. That's a half.
No, I'd give it a solid 8.5.
Okay.
I will knock it off, again, as you said, the lack of communication. I just wish we'd known this will happen at this time, this will happen at this time, or even... there is the chance that Melanie and the Phantom will come out, or there's going to be a lighting show. I just wish I knew the extra little things that were going to happen, because I felt like we did kind of hit unfortunate timing. But I think for a free event, I thought the lighting was great. I thought the theming was great. I liked that we got a little souvenir to take away with us. Plus, I love Phantom Manor anyway, so...
Yeah, you're going to like it regardless.
I was a pure bundle of joy throughout the whole thing.
If it wasn't as cold and I wasn't as tired, I think I would have happily gone round Big Thunder like 10 times in a row.
Yeah.
But it was that little bit too cold and we were tired.
True. But no, I thought it was a good event. I was worried that it would put me off ever doing
another AP
an annual pass event, but I don't think it has.
No.
But I don't know whether that's because no characters were available.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And even the two that were, there was a weird sort of like, what happened was we'd come out and we were like, oh, what's happening here? And people had like circled around the mayor and his wife. And then all of a sudden a queue was formed. Yeah. And everyone just sort of like pushed me out of the way. And I was like, what's happening? I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're forming a queue. I was like, no problems. I'm not in this queue. Yeah. Let me go away.
I think overall could have been executed better, but what they did do was great.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, that's everything about Phantom Manor. As I said, we did, well, I say we. Kate took snapshots throughout the night. I was useless. I was too, like, taken away with everything that was happening.
I was like, ooh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening.
And I was just like, tra-la-la-la-la. So they have been saved as a highlight on our Instagram. So go check them out if you want to see what everything looked like at the time.
Yeah, and if you want to see, there's a good few ride-throughs on YouTube.
There's a really good one on Reddit that has them side by side, so the old one versus the new one. That's a good one to check out.
That's good. Have a look there.
You get to see the melty animatronics and how much better they are now.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, you can give the music a listen. We didn't really record any of that, purely because we're based on a phone and a camera not made for recording dark rides.
Yeah.
So we didn't do any of that because there's no point. It wouldn't have been good enough.
There's people with far better equipment that would do that for you, so
yeah,
check them out.
You can go look at them.
That was our first ever mini waffle. I say mini waffle. It's nearly an hour.
Wasn't mini at all. But, I feel like there wasn't really much else we couldn't have said.
Yeah, there was a lot to get through. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. See you on the regular episode.
Bye.